Welcome. You're listening to Sisters with Purpose podcast.
Welcome to Sisters with Purpose. What is that?
What is it? Did we really just pop out?
And did with a podcast. Hey, y'all.
Wow. Hey.
All right. So, welcome. We have decided, honestly, we really started this about 10 years ago.
Yeah, because our YouTube was, when I look back at it, it was 2011.
Wow. And y'all, it just sat dormant. And it didn't sit dormant because we did not want to get it started. But life happens. Y'all know life be lifing. And so things just started taking place. And we really didn't have the time to sit down and really do what we wanted to do. But everything happens in the timing that is supposed to happen. Yeah. And the time is now, 2026. And we are introducing you to Sisters with Purpose. And today is our first episode, just a small introduction, but we're going to take you behind the scenes of us just a little bit so you can get to know who we are. Some of you may already know us. Some of you may think you know us. And then some of you will get to know us.
That's right. That's right. So we're just going to, again, like Tamika said, tell you a little bit about ourselves. So
I guess we should tell them our names then, huh? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm Kimberly. That's what my parents named me. My government is Kimberly. And that's who I am. That's my name. And a lot of times when someone asks who you are, we start to say what our titles are.
Right.
I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm an educator, I'm a chemist. But really, Kimberly is, I would just say, someone who wants to empower others. Someone who listens, someone who really just wants the best for someone. And I think with all of those desires, it kind of cultivates into the titles that I have, right. You know, as a daughter, as a sister, as a mother, and then, you know, in my professional world. And so those are just some things of who I am, and we'll get into the intricate parts of us once we start kind of like discussing some other things. But that's who I am.
And like she said, those same parents who named her also named me because we are sisters, blood sisters, not just sisters with purpose. And my name is Tamika, a.k.a. Dr. Lee.
Dr.
Lee.
Doctor in the house.
Okay. But no, I like to consider myself to be a game changer. I like to consider myself to be a professional envelope pusher. So those things that, you know, if you're in the workplace and you see some, inequalities or you see some injustices, I've always been the one to speak up for the people who don't speak up for themselves. So I really think that I like to consider myself to be an envelope pusher. I like to consider myself someone who really helps others find their purpose. I really like to help people find their why. Like, you know, what do you do? Why are you doing what you do? Does that make sense? And a lot of times we do what we think others want us to do, and we push back what we really want to do. And so I just, you know, like my sister said, you know, I love to help people. I love to see people win. And so this podcast really is to cultivate and build you up and empower you.
Who's our audience? Our audience is women who just want to hear other women talk about real life conversations. So of course, it is going to be catering to, again, women of color, because we are women of color. That's who we relate to, because that's who we are. But this space is open to any woman. You know, I think Shaka Khan, you know, said it best. I'm every woman. So this podcast is for every woman, whether you're in your mid-20s or you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. It's for you. It's welcome here.
You're welcome.
And who are we together, though? who are we together? You know, together, again, our goal and our purpose is to make sure that we have this platform and this open space for you to be your authentic self. And you're going to see us laugh. You're going to see us cry. You're going to see us give side eyes. It's going to be a safe space. And as you continue to listen in and hear what we have to say, you'll continue to learn more about who we are as Kimberly and Tamika.
And we really want this to be a space where style, culture, faith, and purpose collide. So you're going to hear a different mixture. Our episodes are going to be different. They are not going to be scripted. They are just going to be real conversations. Things that you want to hear, but people don't want to talk about because they're so looking for the aesthetic of everything, right? And so right now, we just really want to give you all a space where you can be heard, be seen, and feel like, oh, okay, that's a podcast that I know. I'm going to get the real. I'm going to get the honest truth, you know, how they're feeling like. A lot of times as Black women, because we carry it well, they forget that it's heavy. We carry it well, so other people think, oh, she's doing that so easily. But sometimes things get heavy. And so just because I carry it well doesn't mean it's not heavy. So we're going to talk about, you know, those different things. And so we want to make sure that this is a space where we have real conversations, but that you can also do self-reflection and regulate yourself so that there's some real growth as well. We want to see, you know, our viewers lead as well as grow. And so March is what?
It is March, and in March, we celebrate women because it is what? Women's History Month. So we're going to have a spotlight of who we want to highlight. I have somebody in mind that I'd like to highlight.
I do too.
We may have the same person that we want to highlight.
Probably. Who you got?
Our older sister. Yes. So again, it is 4 of us. We are the 2 youngest. So we have our oldest sister, we have our brother, myself, and then Tamika. But we want to highlight our oldest sister, Yvette, this month because she is the visionary that actually launched her food truck. Woo! Yes, yay! This past Saturday was the official grand opening on March the 14th. And let me tell you, we got behind her. This has been a dream and a passion for her for years. And to see it come to fruition, you know, you can have a dream and, you know, they say the richest place in the world
is the graveyard,
is the cemetery, the graveyard, because there were so many dreams that were not unleashed or came to fruition. And this is a dream that we can honestly say we witnessed and we stand behind
so excited,
it.
Yes.
And our sister was a manager for a major company for over 20 years, and she worked hard. She put her heart and her soul into it. But it wasn't her passion. And finally last year, she retired and she said, I'm going to start my food truck. And we got behind her. Yes. Tamika was kind of the facilitator of making sure we got all the paperwork. And I'm going to tell y'all, it was not easy.
No.
But because this was a dream and a passion, we got behind our sister, and you know it has been extended as a family-owned business. But she is the visionary, and it has just been a blessing. We sold out, at the grand opening. I mean, listen, it is called. If you all want to follow on TikTok or Instagram, this is a shout out, right? For Women's History Month, and we're highlighting her.
Tags on Instagram is Soul Bowl Southern Catering, and it is that on TikTok it is SBSCC. And so we'll definitely put them down in our profile section so that you can follow that. But let me tell y'all something. The food, people are already asking, when do y'all open officially? And she opens officially this week. And so we're really excited for her. So yes, we want to highlight a woman who is very important to us. And that is our oldest sister, Yvette, who has launched her food truck business. And we are so excited for her.
Yes. So go on over if you're thinking about, well, what is the menu? listen, we don't have the time to tell you the menu because we'll stop and start talking about each and every item. But go over there. It's Southern, barbecue styled,
Yes.
all types of items on the menu. So we want to highlight her. We want to say we love you and happy Women's History Month.
Happy Women's History Month.
So think about who you want to highlight. And again, when we think about Women's History Month, we highlight or we see on these major platforms celebrities and things, but who in your life do you want to highlight for Women's History Month? And just tell them how much you appreciate them and what they've done for you.
Awesome. We did tell you a little bit of who we are, but one thing we're going to talk about is what growing up together shaped in us. A difference between our personalities, because a lot of times I'm a big podcast listener, and so a lot of times I want to see who the people are that I'm listening to. So having a visual of who they are it helps me like relate to the person in a way. I don't know why, but I'm a visual person, so I'm like, I want to see who so and so is and who said that. And so we're going to talk a little bit about our personalities, and then we're going to talk about one thing we admire about each other, just to help build a connection with you all. Like I said, this is unscripted. We're going to always come authentically to you, our authentic selves. And so I am Tamika, and I have been in education for 14, 15 years by accident, but I'll tell y'all that a little later. I'm an educator. I'm a mentor. I have a nonprofit. I'm a creative. I love to create content. I'm passionate about storytelling. And I love helping people identify who they are and discovering who they are. And so I'll turn it over to you to say a little bit about, you.
And I am Kimberly Lee, also known as author Kimberly.
Yes.
I wrote my first book and self-published can you believe it, 2 years ago.
Wow. It's been that long?
In 2024.
Wow, I didn't know it'd been that long.
Yes, it will be 2 years. So I launched it on my birthday.
Okay.
Of January 2024.
Right. Okay.
And so this past January was 2 years.
Wow.
And so if you want to check it out, just a small little shameless plug.
Not the
plug. It is Get Your Weight Up, Sis.
It's
and
a
the
really
weight
good book.
is WAIT, which is an acronym. And so God really stretched me, and we'll talk more about that. But yeah, so I'm a self-published author. I am a chemist by education. I have my bachelor's degree in chemistry. I also have my MBA, and then I also have a master's degree in my profession.
Okay, degree stacking.
I know you're not talking, Dr. Lee.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's who I am. And then I'm a mentor, and I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother, sister, daughter, friend, but just someone who is deeply committed to helping people find their purpose and just wanting to be that vessel that God has used to actually spark that light into someone else.
Yeah.
So that's who I am a little bit.
So what was it like growing up with moi? Me, the youngest, the T.
Y'all hear the silence, right? No, but seriously, I would say during our younger years, she was a pest. Tamika was, a pest, like that little insect that in the summertime that is just like right around you. You can't find it, but it's there because it's just pestering. Well, I wasn't really comparing you to an insect, but just a pesty, just those pesty little insects. That's how Tamika was, because we were the two youngest. And so I was in the house longer than our two older siblings with her. So it was really just she and I, until I got married and moved out and was in my own place. But, she wasn't the nagging little sister where I would say I disliked her, but she was just the pestering little sister that just told everything. Like even
that
when
needed to be told, y'all.
Even when I got into, the 12, 13-year-olds where you start liking little boys, and we talking, I'm aging myself, but we had landlines. So we didn't have, cell phones, but we had cordless. So I would take the cordless phone and we shared bedrooms, and go into our bedroom and, call a little boy or whatever. She wanna not like just
let me in. This is our room.
Pestering. Do y'all hear me? But no, so that was like the adolescent years. But I think, again, where we cultivated and curated our relationship that moved from not just sisterhood, but into friendship was when, again, I was married. Mm-hmm. And then within that year, I had my first child, and Tamika was like the built-in babysitter. Right. Mm-hmm. And so she would always come over. It was like her second home, because she would come over after school and she would just help me with the baby. A year later, had another baby. And so, yeah, she was that built-in babysitter, but, she was the auntie / big sister, because she was just always around, just always being so helpful. And I would probably say, once you got in your mid-teens, I was then in my early 20s. Mm-hmm. But she was able to go places with me and things like that. And so we just became friends, where we became just sisterhood best friends. I would probably say in maybe
when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, your mid 20s. We just started hanging out more, going to places, having dinner, just having certain commonalities and conversations. I think the conversations that we had is really what curated and built our relationship on. We can talk about, the dating and the guys and the, challenges and all of that. And so while I was still married, there were some things that you couldn't relate to.
Right.
But as you got older and was forming your own relationships, there were things that I could advise you on, and that just kind of brought us together.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the nurturing of the relationship did happen more when you had children. So, like, it's 4 of us. We're all very close. Our mom was very big on making sure that we, siblings, sometimes there was no sibling rivalry in our family. Right. You're going to support each other. You're going to be there for each other. You have disagreements. You can have them, but do them in a respectful way. And so I think that, it was, having our older siblings, because we're very close to our older siblings as well. But I think that having the kids allowed me, as the youngest, to build those individual relationships and nurture the relationships with my siblings and their kids respectively. And so I'm there for all my nieces and nephews when they need me, and I'm also there for my siblings. So I would say that kind of, my siblings were older than me. We're 7 years apart. And so they were older than me. So I kind of felt like I kind of grew up in the house alone a little bit, because they were all out, married, or in their own homes. And so I kind of felt like an only child for a little bit until the kids started really coming along. And so that's why I'm kind of like considered like the auntie / big sister, because I'm like, oh, okay, it's kids in the house now. So that's kind of nice. It kind of made me feel like the oldest. And so growing up, I think it shaped me. I think I learned to be, I'm not going to say overly, but overly independent. Like, I can be in the house by myself. I'm kind of like an introvert in a sense. Call myself a functioning introvert because I can be by myself. But I think it taught me, shaped me in the way of independence. I don't need to be around a whole bunch of people to have a good time. I know how to enjoy my own company. But I do enjoy, the people that my circle, I do enjoy being around them. I do love, being my silly self around them. But I do also enjoy my solitude so that I can rebuild and prepare and do the things that I need to prepare. One of the things that I would say is different with as far as our personality, so that you guys can like be able to identify who is who and our voices are different, but a lot of times when people see us in public, they think we're twins.
Right.
And so we always got to be like, no, we're sisters, 7 years apart. So now we just say, when they be like, y'all twins, we be like, yep, 7 years apart. Yep. Because we get it all the time, like nonstop. Are y'all twins? Are y'all twins? Are y'all twins? And so for the purposes of our audience members, we want to make sure, our viewers, we want to make sure that y'all know who's who, right? And so the difference in our personalities, I would say I am an observer. I'm a people watcher, so I do observe people, but I am the feisty one. I will speak up in a heartbeat. Quick.
Feisty.
I will say something. If somebody
feisty.
I will speak up.
Say one more time. Feisty.
And is.
And I would probably say I'm kind of like the quiet storm, right? I'm not even going to say pop off, but I will assert. I will assert myself if I see that it's needed. And we have some stories about that. Remember Texas?
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, man.
So, I wouldn't say quiet one, but I'm more reserved. And I think that probably just came from years, as parenting and things like that. I'm just a reserved one where I'll observe first, and then if needed, I'll insert myself. I'll say something. I can be feisty as well, but I think as far as a personality trait, I'm probably a little bit more reserved than you.
I observe and then I say something.
She does.
Sometimes I get gathered. The Holy Spirit be like, that's not what we doing. And I'll be like, okay. But sometimes I think for me, the reason why is because my siblings were so much older than me, I went through school alone. I didn't have my siblings. Oh, I'm going to get my sister out the classroom. A lot of people that I went to school with had a sibling or a cousin in the school with them. I did not. And so I remember.
Either.
No, you didn't. But you had like friends. But I felt like I had to kind of like take up for myself a lot. And so when people would try to like pick on me, I had to like speak up. And I think that helped build my personality. I just think that's just the type of person that I am. Like I used to speak up for people in school. Like if I saw somebody getting bullied or getting picked on, I would speak up for them. Now, I'm not saying I'm the biggest thing and I'm around here and I can clock somebody out, but I don't like people being picked on. And so I think that's where my feistiness comes from. So one thing I don't play with is my mom and my siblings, and anyone connected to my family. And so that's our personalities. I'm the nicest I'll give you the shirt off my back. I really will. I'll do anything for you.
She's going to say something about it.
I'm going to say something first. I'm going to be like, you may not want to do that. Like, I'm going to need you to be careful. And my friends that know me, they love me. They be like, oh, no, you don't want to mess with Tamika. Just leave her alone. She going to say something.
Oh, what's one thing that you admire about me?
I would probably say your resilience, and tenacity. I think when you get married young, a lot of times you lose yourself in the marriage or the kids, the mom. So you were married young, but not once have I ever seen you stumble. Like even if earlier when I said it's heavy, but just because we carry it well doesn't mean it's not heavy. I feel like you carry things very well. Like you just have this tenacity to be like, okay, I'm gonna push through. Now in your quiet moments, you may do it, but I don't think your kids have even ever seen you fumble. I don't think your friends have seen you fumble. So I really think I admire your tenacity to really push through. It's just a strength that you have about you that I think is very admirable. Like I just be like, I probably would have broke down. I probably would have fumbled on it. You know what I'm saying? But I just be like, oh, she handling that kind of well. Like, and I think that comes from our mom. Our mom is our mom is one of the strongest people I have ever. Like some people are like, girl, your mom's so strong. Your mom don't be. Now she has her moments but she is one of the strongest, most sweetest people you will ever meet. And I think you have a lot of her. Me, on the other hand, I think I'm more like our dad. Like he was pop off. Like he just be like, we carry things well, but just be like, I can be an emotional being with certain things, but I think you carry things very well. Like your tenacity, your strength to push through something is very admirable. I appreciate. I love that about you. I do.
Thank you,
girl. I probably would have crumbled, but okay.
But God, and let me,
that's right.
And let me just say this, you heard her say even earlier, the Holy Spirit gathered her. So this is not, we do want to, not really a disclaimer, but we do want to highlight, our faith. You will hear our faith. While this is not a faith-based podcast, it is who we are.
Right.
And so you will hear in segments and moments where, listen, we giving praise to our Father, Heavenly Father. Okay. And the Holy Spirit. So that's our faith base. And so again, we welcome all, but this is who we are.
Yes.
So, but thank you.
You're welcome.
And what do you admire about moi? This one right here. I would, there are a lot of things, but I'd probably say what I deeply admire about you, I'll just use this word, determination. And I'll peel that back. And determination, I think you kind of highlighted it with you being the youngest of the siblings and the last one in the house. You grew up basically on your own after, the latter part of the years when all the older siblings were out the house. But also, let me say, you've heard us mention our mom and our dad while they were married. Their relationship dissolved and eventually ended in a divorce at a very young age for both Tamika and I. And so then my mom raised, she was a single parent of 4 children and, was raising the 4 of us as a single mother. And so I would say Tamika was able to observe and experience living with a single parent and just having to matriculate and navigate through life as the only child, but then also with the single parent. And while she had us around, she still had to navigate herself. And so I would see a lot of times just the determination on what she wanted to do. And as we see now, she has that title of Dr. Lee, which shows her tenacity and her determination. But along with the determination, you're very considerate of others. And while people say, we know as the youngest, sometimes it's the youngest always get their way. Me. It's kind of almost like the only child syndrome when you're the youngest because you always get your way, right? But I would say Tamika was just the opposite. She always considered others, even with her helping me with my children at an early age. She was always available and considerate of others. And so when I think about that, it's very selfless. And so even with your determination and all of the goals and achievements that you've accomplished, you still find a way to give back to others. And that's deeply, to be admired. And so I thank you with everything that you've helped me with and just how you consider and help others.
Well, thank you. It's my rider.
Yeah.
Our 2 oldest siblings are our riders too.
Sure.
But when you older, you getting this, I don't know, you getting this set in your ways type thing. They don't be wanting to do nothing. They older, they be like, oh, y'all go ahead and do that. But one thing about us, we show up for each other. We are very big on that. And you'll see a lot of that. We'll share a lot about, little parts of our family, different parts of our family. We may be like, hey y'all, this weekend we went to an event with one of her sons, who I call my nephew sons. Their kids are my kids. I don't have any children, but my siblings' kids are my kids. And we felt like y'all needed this, right? We wanted to make sure that y'all got some true, authentic conversations, real growth, some moments of clarity. There are going to be some moments where we're highlighting things that need to be talked about. as far as what's going on. You need to be in the know. Do you know this? Do you know that? But we're going to be talking fashion. We're going to be talking style. We're going to be talking faith. We're going to be talking culture. So all those things. No, you're not going to hear no gossip. We're not going to be highlighting the latest relationship. But we're really going to be talking about things that we as women go through.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important because a lot of times it's these, you have people who have built this aesthetic around their content, and it makes it seem like there aren't no mistakes, like everything is perfect.
Not
and
real.
We know that that's not true, right? And so we want to make sure that you all feel like they're really being their true selves. And so we want to make sure that we lead with topics like identity. Do you know who you are? Do you know what your purpose is? Yeah. The importance of mentorship, regardless of your age. Emotional growth, like we've grown emotionally throughout the years. And then faith grounding, things that we feel like actually really adds depth to the individual that you are.
Also some other things that we'll highlight is what our listeners can expect from us. Yeah, and then also we're just going to talk about culture without compromise, right? And so that's basically, saying, are you still your authentic self within the culture?
Yeah.
Or are you allowing culture to change you? Are you allowing culture to change your views?
Yeah.
Are you allowing culture to change your thought concept? So we're going to talk about that. And then we're also going to talk about sisterhood without competition. Now, we can really peel back the layers with sisterhood because, whether sisterhood biologically sisterhood or sisterhood in friendship or sisterhood in particular organizations that you may be a part of, and just really, how does that bring value to who you are? And what do you give in those different spaces? And so we're going to talk about things like that. And we're also at some point going to have special guests on the show. Okay. So Sisters with Purpose podcast with a guest.
Yes.
And so we'll talk about all of that and bring those into conversations. And we're going to show y'all the real.
For real.
Okay.
And like I said earlier, some of you know us. Some of you want to know us. Some of you do not know us. And some of you will get to know us. And so what do we want to leave our listeners with?
We just want to leave with come back for more.
Yes.
Okay, this is our intro that we're showing you, just a little bit about ourselves. But if you want to laugh, if you want to cry authentically, if you want to tap into your purpose, if you want some motivation, this is where you need to come.
Yes.
And so we also want you to provide in the comments below whatever platform you're on, whether it's going to be YouTube or it's going to be Instagram. We want to hear what type of topics you may want us to talk about or highlight, right? Some of them we may have already had in mind, and some of them we'd be like, oh, that's a good topic. Yeah. That's a good one. So please just let us know what you think, some topics that you may want us to highlight, and we'll get that format together and we'll continue. And that's all I have to say.
So make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you share. Make sure that you join us next week with Sister with Purpose. We are going to be dropping a new episode every week. Yes. We are still getting our platform down, but we were like, we're not going to hold off any longer. We're going to go ahead and we are going to do what we were called to do. And so that's why we are here. We want to make sure that you know that you can talk to us. You can be real. We are going to be on all platforms. We are going to be on Instagram. We are going to be on YouTube, and we may be on Spotify. But right now, just make sure that you check us out on YouTube and you check us out on Instagram. We will make sure that we add our tags to this video so that you can follow us. And we cannot wait to see you next week.
Thank you for watching Sisters with Purpose podcast.
Bye.